Imagine waking up, logging into your computer, and seeing your bank account balance on a remote work platform hit like 80,000 shillings.
Oh, wow. That sounds incredible.
Right. But now imagine realizing that not only is that money completely fake, but you have just spent the last 6 months of your life building a highly profitable product for the exact person who is about to lock you out of your account.
Yeah, that is, I mean, it's just a gut punch.
It really is. And welcome to the deep dive. We are thrilled you're here with us today. We are looking at the dark side of the booming online job market, specifically exploring the mechanics outlined in the source text, the high cost of exploited hope.
Right.
And our mission for this deep dive is to understand, not just the technical architecture of these digital scams, but the devastating psychological toll they take on people who are, frankly, just looking for a way out of unemployment.
Yeah, and it is a really critical mission, especially when you consider the landscape we are dealing with right now. I mean, the internet today is this vast, bustling metropolis.
Oh, absolutely.
It is absolutely brimming with authentic remote work, legitimate freelancing, and real opportunities. But because of that very scale and, the anonymity it provides, it's also become a highly sophisticated hunting ground for predators.
Yeah, it's not just the Nigerian prince emails anymore.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
These aren't the rudimentary email scams of the early 2000s. Today's operations, they hide in plain sight. They flawlessly mimic the language, the UI design, and all the visual cues of legitimate tech companies.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because these traps are meticulously engineered to target a very specific human vulnerability. And to understand the anatomy of a financial scam, we kind of need to look at how they operate on a micro level.
Right.
So let's talk about James. He's a father of two, and he had been jobless for 8 months.
Which is brutal.
It's so brutal. That is 8 months of waking up before sunrise, polishing the CV, applying for dozens of jobs, and just getting absolute silence in return.
Yeah, and that puts a person in a highly vulnerable psychological state. I mean, 8 months of constant rejection slowly erodes your self-esteem. It increases your financial pressure to a total boiling point, and crucially, it amplifies your sense of urgency. Like when you're in survival mode, your brain stops looking for long-term career growth.
Right. You just need a lifeline.
Exactly. You start desperately scanning the horizon for immediate relief.
And right on cue, while he's, scrolling through social media, the algorithm serves up the bait. Bold text. It says, work from home, earn 5,000 shillings daily, no experience needed.
Okay.
And this wasn't some sketchy text-only post from a random account. It was packaged beautifully. Professional graphics, high-definition screenshots of mobile payment receipts, and smiling video testimonials of people claiming their lives were completely transformed.
Yeah, they're manufacturing a highly controlled environment of social proof.
Oh.
Because in a state of intense anxiety, the human brain expends a lot of energy. And to save that energy, it relies on cognitive shortcuts, heuristics, basically, to make fast decisions.
So he sees the comments and just trusts it.
Right. When James sees dozens of other people succeeding in the comment section, his brain bypasses the analytical processing center entirely and simply signals, the tribe says this is safe. The tribe says this works.
Wow. So he clicks the link. And the initial requirement to start working is a registration fee of 1,000 shillings. Now, contextually, that is a relatively small amount of money. James borrows it from a friend and sends it over to get access to the platform.
Yeah.
But, a lot of people might look at an upfront fee and run. But it strikes me that this isn't like a cover charge at a nightclub where you pay to get to the fun part. This operates exactly like those microtransactions in freemium video games. We're honestly like a lobster trap.
Well, what's fascinating here is the precise application of behavioral economics. You nailed it with the lobster trap analogy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the opening is wide, welcoming, and really easy to swim into. Because scammers almost never ask for the massive VIP package up front.
Right.
If they asked for 5,000 shillings right out of the gate, James would have swiped away immediately. The friction would just be too high. Instead, they engineer a micro-commitment.
So by paying that first 1,000 shillings, he crosses a massive psychological threshold.
Exactly.
He is no longer just scrolling past an ad. He is an active investor. Like, he has skin in the game now.
He does, and that introduces cognitive dissonance into the equation. Once he is paid, acknowledging that it might be a scam means acknowledging that he was fooled.
Oh, and nobody wants to feel like they were fooled.
Right, it's a direct blow to the ego. So to protect his self-esteem, his brain rationalizes the payment as a legitimate business expense.
Which sets the stage perfectly for the bait and switch, because almost immediately, the rules change. They tell him his first task isn't data entry or customer service like the ad said. It's recruiting 3 more people. And when he asks about the actual work, he gets stonewalled. Instead, the admins tell him he needs to upgrade to a VIP package for 5,000 shillings to unlock the serious earning tiers.
Yeah.
The scam has instantly morphed into a pyramid scheme. And it's fascinating how these operate now. I mean, they aren't renting out hotel conference rooms or hosting Tupperware parties anymore.
No.
They're utilizing ephemeral, encrypted WhatsApp and Telegram groups.
Which is so clever because it allows them to maintain perfect asymmetrical control. The admins can broadcast messages, post fake payment proofs, and just silence anyone who asks questions.
Wow.
And this brings us to the core mechanism, holding potential earnings hostage. They build false momentum by assuring James that the VIP tier will allow him to recover his initial investment in a matter of days.
Oh, that is so manipulative.
It is. And to walk away now triggers the sunk cost fallacy. Accepting the loss of the first 1,000 shillings is too painful. So paying the next fee feels, perversely, like he's defending his initial investment.
It's totally weaponized hope. And the outcome is catastrophic. He borrows again, he pays the VIP fee, and the goalposts just keep moving.
Yep.
Every new task requires a new activation fee. Every withdrawal request is met with an error code requiring a processing fee. Until, finally, the entire digital infrastructure vanishes.
Just gone.
Completely. The WhatsApp group is deleted, the domain name goes offline, the company basically evaporates into the ether, leaving James with nothing but compounded debt.
Yeah, it is a highly optimized extraction machine. I mean, they bleed the victim incrementally, analyzing their responses, taking progressively larger amounts until the victim either runs out of capital or the psychological spell finally breaks.
And then they just move on to the next person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because it's all handled through decentralized digital channels, the scammer just re-registers a new domain, spins up a new Telegram group under a new name, and starts the funnel all over again.
But, James's trap assumes the victim has a little bit of capital to lose in the first place. What happens when the target's bank account is already at 0?
Well, that's a whole different game.
Right. You'd think they are safe from financial scams, but these predators have engineered an entirely different trap that doesn't target your wallet. It targets your calendar.
And this is where we shift from capital extraction to labor extraction, which requires an entirely different set of mechanics. And because it completely bypasses the traditional financial defense mechanisms, meaning the victim is never actually asked to send money. It is arguably much more insidious.
Okay, let's look at Mary's situation from the source material. She is a single mother who managed to avoid the upfront fee traps. Instead, she gets approved for a remote platform doing digital tasks.
Right.
For 6 straight months after she puts her kids to bed, she works late into the night. She's filling out surveys, doing microdata entry, clicking through forms, and every single day she logs into her dashboard and watches her account balance grow.
Yeah.
It steadily climbs until it hits nearly 80,000 shillings.
Which represents hundreds of hours of her life, a massive, irreplaceable investment of time and focused attention.
But wait, if she didn't pay any registration fees like James did, how does the scammer actually win here? I'm struggling to see the math from the predator side.
It's a great question.
Because free labor doesn't pay for the luxury cars they feature in their ads. Where is the actual revenue coming from?
So the revenue comes from the hidden supply chain of the data broker economy and affiliate marketing networks.
Oh, really?
Yeah. When we look closely at what Mary was actually doing, it breaks down into 2 highly lucrative streams for the scammer. First, let's look at the fake data entry tasks.
Okay.
In many cases, these victims are essentially processing raw, harvested personal information. They are organizing databases of names, active email addresses, phone numbers, demographic profiles.
Oh, wow. So they're basically doing the tedious cleanup work for massive spam operations.
Precisely. In the digital underworld, a verified active profile, what they call a lead, is highly valuable. The scam platform acts as a lead generation factory.
That is wild.
Yeah. By having Mary sort, verify, and categorize this data, the scammer can package it and sell it in bulk to marketing firms, ad networks, or even identity theft rings.
So she's just a free worker for them.
Exactly. Mary is acting as a free employee, refining the scammer's raw materials into a highly profitable digital commodity.
And what about the surveys? Because you mentioned she was filling out endless forms. How does that generate cash?
Well, that is the second revenue stream. And it involves manipulating the legitimate market research industry.
How so?
So major corporations pay third-party research firms millions of dollars for consumer data. Those research firms set up automated survey routers that pay a small bounty, say 50 cents or $1, for every completed survey.
Okay, I follow you.
The scammer builds a glossy front-end platform that connects to those legitimate survey routers via an API. They crowdsource the work to thousands of people like Mary, promising them a cut of the payout.
Ah, so the scammer's platform is basically acting as a middleman.
Exactly. When Mary completes a survey, the legitimate research firm automatically deposits the real money into the scammer's master account.
Oh, no.
Yeah, the scammer collects all the revenue, but they have absolutely no intention of ever passing Mary's share along to her. Her dashboard is essentially a digital mirage,
It's just fake numbers.
just a number going up on a screen to keep her motivated. The scammer's overhead is functionally zero, making it a pure profit enterprise built entirely on stolen labor.
The double dipping is just staggering. I mean, they get the corporate revenue and they get free labor to generate that revenue.
Nope.
But eventually, Mary's going to want her money, right? How do they handle the payout phase without exposing themselves?
They rely on the rug pull mechanism, specifically utilizing the concept of a compliance violation.
What does that mean?
Well, when Mary finally hits that 80,000 shilling mark and clicks the withdraw button, the platform triggers an automated script. Her account is instantly suspended, and she receives a cold, generic notification citing suspicious activity or a terms of service violation.
Which is a brilliant but terrible psychological deflection. By throwing a red flag on her account, the platform shifts the burden of proof and the blame directly onto the victim.
Exactly. It creates a state of immediate confusion and panic.
Right, Mary assumes there has been a technical error. She thinks, wait, did I click something wrong? Did I log in from the wrong IP address? Let me contact customer support to clear this up.
And of course, the customer support portal is just a dead end.
Just a black hole.
Yeah, it's a phantom wall designed to absorb complaints while the admins ignore her emails entirely.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Well, honestly, not interesting, actually just profoundly sad.
Yeah.
When that account vanished, Mary didn't just mourn the lost money. The source text makes it clear she was crushed because she had sacrificed sleep, she had sacrificed her own energy, and most importantly, precious, unrecoverable moments with her children for absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
It was the total illusion of progress that broke her.
And that is the core tragedy of wage theft scams. Capital can theoretically be earned back. You can find another job, you can save another 1,000 shillings.
Right.
Time cannot be earned back. She was trading the most finite, valuable resource she possessed, the hours of her life and her presence with her family, based on a complete fiction.
So, having mapped out these two different architectures, James losing his capital to a decentralized sunk-cost pyramid scheme, and Mary losing her time to a data broker labor extraction scam.
Yeah.
How do we reverse engineer their playbook?
That's the real goal here.
Because for you listening right now, the goal isn't just to be horrified by these stories. The goal is to learn how to spot the tripwires before you step on them.
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, we really have to understand the evolutionary biology that the predator's playbook relies on.
Biology.
Yeah. Their entire business model depends on exploiting the brain precisely when hope is running low. When you are terrified about how you are going to pay rent or feed your kids, your body is flooded with cortisol.
Right, the stress hormone.
Exactly. And that stress hormone actually degrades the functioning of your prefrontal cortex, which is the logic and critical thinking center of your brain.
Which perfectly explains why incredibly smart people fall for these traps. It's not an intelligence issue at all. It's a biological override.
Absolutely.
The scammers know that a desperate brain is evolutionary wired to look for lifelines, so they use digital misdirection. The luxury cars, the massive earnings claims, the countdown timers creating artificial urgency.
Yeah.
It's all engineered to overwhelm your already stressed logical processing with a massive, sudden hit of dopamine, like a magician using flashy props.
Exactly. The dopamine shuts down the skepticism. So to defeat the misdirection, you cannot rely on your gut instinct when you are stressed. You need a hard, objective checklist.
Okay, let's get into it.
The research highlights 4 major red flags to watch out for.
Let's walk through them, starting with number 1, large upfront payments.
Right. And as we saw with the lobster trap analogy in James's case, sometimes they aren't even large at first.
Sure, just 1,000 shillings.
Yeah, but the absolute rule of thumb here is the flow of capital. Legitimate employers pay you for your labor. You do not pay them for the privilege of working.
That makes total sense. If a platform is asking for onboarding fees, training software licenses, or like VIP tier upgrades before you can earn a paycheck, you need to sever contact immediately.
Which leads us to red flag number 2, earnings that sound impossible.
Right. And this is where we need to apply cold, hard mathematics. 5,000 shillings daily for an entry-level task with no experience required.
It just doesn't add up.
It doesn't. If a business is paying executive-level daily rates for zero-skill labor, their margins would collapse within a week. It is mathematically impossible for that business to sustain itself.
Exactly.
The economic model has to make sense. If the output doesn't justify the wage is a lie.
Spot on. Now, red flag number 3, a focus on recruitment over actual work.
We talked about how modern pyramid schemes have evolved to use encrypted messaging apps, but the core structure remains exactly the same.
Yeah, it does.
If the primary mechanism for generating revenue is bringing in 3 friends, who each bring in 3 friends, you are not an employee contributing to a service. You are the product being consumed.
So true. And finally, red flag number 4, no verifiable company behind the offer.
Yeah. If the only point of contact you have is an anonymous admin in a Telegram channel, that is a massive vulnerability.
Huge.
If you cannot find a legitimate corporate headquarters, an official LinkedIn page populated by real people with real work histories, or independent reviews on third-party sites outside of their own controlled social media ecosystem, you are dealing with a digital ghost.
Now, this raises an important question. How do we practically balance this necessary rigid skepticism with the optimism required to actually find a job?
Yeah, that's tough.
Because the reality is not all online work is a scam. The digital economy is very real. Legitimate clients do pay freelance writers, designers, and developers. Authentic tech companies are hiring remote customer success managers and data analysts every single day.
And that is the incredibly difficult tightrope you have to walk. You can't let the existence of predators make you so cynical that you stop applying for real opportunities.
All right.
But you also can't be so blindly optimistic that you become the next James or Mary. A legitimate opportunity will always focus on the value exchange.
Exactly.
They will want to thoroughly evaluate your skills, your portfolio, and your past experience because they are investing in your output. A scammer doesn't care about your resume.
Not at all.
They only care about how quickly you can navigate their payment funnel or how much free data you can generate before you catch on to the ruse.
Precisely. A real employer evaluates your competence. A predator evaluates your vulnerability.
So what does this all mean? When we zoom all the way out, past the encrypted chat groups, past the fake dashboards and API integrations, what is the ultimate cost of this digital landscape?
The overarching conclusion of the research is really profound. The greatest loss in these scams isn't the capital extracted. No, it isn't the hundreds of shillings or even the drained life savings, as economically devastating as that is. The ultimate cost is the systematic destruction of time, trust, confidence, and hope.
Wow. They steal your fundamental belief that things can get better. And that brings us directly back to you listening right now. Why does understanding this machinery matter to you?
Yeah, why should they care?
Maybe you aren't currently desperate for remote work. Maybe your career is secure. But the odds are incredibly high that you know someone who is actively navigating this digital minefield.
Oh, almost certainly.
A friend, a family member, a neighbor who has been out of work for months, whose prefrontal cortex is starting to get clouded by that survival mode panic. You have the ability to be their objective voice of reason.
That's such an important role.
It is. When they text you that shiny link with the guaranteed daily payouts, you can be the one to apply the checklist. You can spot the red flags and keep them out of the lobster trap. Because we all need to remember the brutal lesson embedded in this research. The most expensive thing in the world is hope placed in the wrong hands.
It truly is. And, it leaves me with a final lingering thought to mull over, looking at the sheer sophistication of these operations.
Yeah.
Think about the skill sets required to pull this off. These scammers possess a deep, intuitive understanding of behavioral psychology. They understand complex marketing funnels, A/B testing, and user retention.
Right.
They utilize advanced copywriting and incredibly sleek UX design to build these elaborate, high-converting digital environments.
It's basically a tech startup skill set.
Exactly. So imagine what they could achieve and the legitimate, scalable wealth they could build if they applied those exact same high-level skills to solving real problems in a genuine enterprise instead of engineering fraudulent ones.
It is a staggering misallocation of human capital on every side of the equation.
Truly.
But it's up to us to recognize the underlying mechanics, protect our most valuable resource, our time, and keep our hope rigorously guarded. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Stay sharp and stay safe out there.
Listen, like, subscribe, share. Robbers of Life channel.